Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 139 of our FC Isle of Man series, and happy Thursday wherever in the world you're watching from. Today's episode, I know this is kind of hyperbole and I use this a lot, but that's just hyping up stuff to get people to watch it. History will be made because we're in our first ever FA Cup semi-final, and if we make it to the final of that competition, I think it's the first final I've ever made for the FA Cup on the channel itself. So hopefully you guys are witnessing history in the making, and we're going to set ourselves up for a blockbuster cup final in tomorrow's episode. Now, we haven't played that many games off screen, but we are still keeping in touch with that top four finish. There's a whole bunch of football coming thick and fast. We're going to jump straight in and see how we've gone. So, first and foremost, as you guys can see above my head here, we are sitting in the top four, but we're just holding on by way of goal difference at the moment. Arsenal have caught us up a couple of different times. There was a point where we were 5 points clear of them. We had a bad run. We've had some tough results, and they have reeled us back in. We're currently above them, both sides on 61 points, but we're currently above them on 25 plus goal difference. They're on 20, so there is a bit of a swing coming if we both continue to win our games. I think we do have, of the two sides, the better run home, but we've got probably the biggest side that we have remaining to play, Bournemouth, who are currently sitting in 9th position, just outside the European places, still to play. That will be the second game of this episode. First up is the reigning defending Premier League champions Leeds in the FA Cup semi-final. Now, they haven't had the best season. You can see here, looking at the table, can you guys actually see it? No, they're even further down than what you can see. They're down in 15th, which is just kind of roughly about here. Only 38 points drawn from the season, which is crazy when you think that last season they actually got 84 points in total, which is just absolutely mental. They're on track, I think, to get less than half of the points they got last season. Interestingly for us, last season we finished in 6th with 74 points. Even if we win our remaining 4 games, we're only going to get 73 points. So it's just kind of, I think, goes to show that the division this season has been a lot more even. With Man City, Chelsea, Man United all having strong seasons, they've all taken points off each other more frequently. You can see like City has lost to both United and Chelsea. Chelsea's lost to ourselves and a couple other teams as well. United have lost to a bunch of teams. Really, it's been a more level playing group than perhaps what we've seen in previous seasons, which is why it is so tight. There is a bit of a gap forming though. Like you can see, both ourselves and Arsenal are clear of 6th place Newcastle by 11 points. I think we are going to finish in the top 5, which is going to be an improvement on last season and the season before that, where we finished 6th back-to-back. But really, like, to get this close, we desperately want to get that Champions League football and that Champions League prospect. Now, previous results, of course, in yesterday's episode, we did lose back-to-back games 1-0. And it was only after I went back and edited those episodes, and I guess that's one of the benefits of content creation. You kind of get to be a little bit more critical of yourself, and you get to see after the fact how you've managed and what you could have done better. In both scenarios, we went attacking in the last 30 minutes. And I'm curious as to what might have happened if maybe against Newcastle we stayed in that 4-2-3-1. Would we have found a goal? Would we have found a breakthrough? Would we have been defensively set up to not concede a 92nd minute winner to Bruno for Newcastle? For Tottenham, the same thing. We went super attacking in the last 30 minutes, went after it a little bit, and Martin Areola caught us on a counter-attack, a good save from a keeper, and he tapped home into an empty net. Would we have held shape if we had just stayed a bit more pragmatic with it? Or, by the other end of it, should we have gone attacking from the start? Would we have gone and created a whole lot more opportunities if we had been in that 4-2-4 from the very beginning and not, kind of backs to the wall defending for such a large period of the game? We did go all out attacking against Aston Villa and played very, very well. Pablo Rivera getting the most out of that formation, I think. He got a hat-trick in a 3-0 victory. We then did the same thing again against Leicester. And really, we were the better side in this match. We just didn't find the finishes. You can see the likes of Paul Harold, Pablo Rivera had poor games. We did change it up late on and went back to the 4-2-3-1. And maybe I'm just kind of like tinkering, tweaking a little bit too much. Maybe we just need to pick something for a game and then stick with it for that game. Instead of, jumping between formations during the course of a match. I think that might be causing us some issues and concerns. For that reason, and for that mentality, I think I'm going to go after a little bit in this one. If we're going to lose in the semi-final stage, let's at least go down swinging, and let's go with our super aggressive 4-2-4 shape, which so far has done relatively well for us. I think the other challenge that we've got that we're trying to overcome is that Luciano Fontana is out suspended for this one, our starting right back, and his backup, Lee Dickinson, is also injured. So we are going to be playing Lucas Gabriel, who by trade is a right winger, as a defensive player. He can do it. He's not terrible at it, but he's very much like an attacking wing back. He's not a defensive one. His defensive traits aren't particularly fantastic in terms of what we need him to do, particularly at Premier League level. So if we at least leave him on attacking instructions, we're going to make the most of some of that ability that he has with the ball and hopefully get the advantage on that right-hand side that way. That's the idea in my head. So injuries and suspensions kind of pushing us to playing a more attacking style. Plus, I think it gets the most out of the front too. I think they're playing well together. You can see from their last 5 games, both of them over 7s in terms of their average match rating. It's basically getting the best side out on the park that we can get. The one that you'd maybe say isn't necessarily doing that well at the moment is Frank Richard. He's only on a 6.6 over the last 5 games, but we don't have anyone else that can play either at right back to push Gabriel forward or on the right-hand side because Azusko Mateo is also currently injured with some fractured ribs that'll keep him out for the next few games. The other one that might be jumping out at you, Hisham Haji is on a 7.34 average rating over his last 5. It's probably a weird scenario to be dropping him out, but we're not playing with the number 10. And I think we might go with Lind at the base of midfield to start with, just to add a little bit more defensive steel. Leeds have a very good midfield lineup. We'll talk about them in a moment, but let's just jump in, magic of editing, and have a look at the lineups now. So, first up for us, we're going Mancini in goal, Abdesamad as the covering centre-back alongside Esteban, who'll play a little bit more as a stopper, Carlos Andre at left wing-back, Lucas Gabriel at right wing-back, Henri will anchor midfield as that deep-lying playmaker on support, Lind will play as a Mazzai, getting a little bit further forward, Harold on the left wing as an inverted winger, cutting inside onto his favoured right foot, Richard on the right-hand side, also a right-footed player, but he can kind of do a job as an inverted winger on support if we need him to. Schaefer will play at the 10 as a deep-lying forward, and Rivera leading the line up top. Now's where we kind of switch and transition to Leeds. The idea in my head, and I don't think we've actually gotten this to work correctly at the moment, is that they've got these 2 deeper lying central midfielders, which means there's a big gap in across here for those midfield players to get into. I'm looking for the likes of Richard to cut inside, for the likes of Harold to cut inside, for the fullbacks to bomb on into this spare space. If Schaefer comes short, you'd imagine it'd be really tough for Temperini, Celico at the base of their midfield to be tracking multiple runners in and out of that area. And even if they leave these front 4 forward, we've still got, 5 players back there. 2 midfield anchors, 2 central defenders who don't really get forward. Maybe the wing backs might push on, but I think we've got enough there to still maintain a man advantage and still hopefully get some good movement off the ball is what we really want to see. They do have some very good players though. Alejandro Temperini, we've spoken about him a couple of times when we've come up against them. 21-year-old Argentine international, previously a wonder kid, and he was phenomenal for them last season in their championship campaign or their Premier League champion campaign. 7.53 over that season. Has dropped off a little bit this year. Hasn't made as many appearances either. Only 7.07 as an average rating. But again, that's nothing to be sneezed at. They picked him up for real cheap. I wish we had if I had my time again, I would go back and pick him up and play him alongside Henri. That would be a phenomenal midfield duo. But a DLP, he's got all the technical attributes you want over 15. He's got very good mental attributes for someone so young. He'll continue to grow into that role, and physically just a beast as well. Like 18 acceleration and balance, 19 agility, 16 pace, 17 stamina. Very, very impressive from the young Argentine. And 16 caps at 21 years of age. Like Argentina, Brazil, tough places to get lots and lots of caps just due to the depth of players that they produce in each database. Out on the left-hand side, they've got this guy, Matko Katic, who's decent, but not super spectacular. I think the summary of Leeds last season was that they were solid, just across the board. They had a variety of good players. They had a consistent lineup each week, and they consistently got points and were tough to break down. Katic is pretty much the epitome of that. He's just a winger on support on that left-hand side. He's got solid technical attributes, solid mental attributes, some good physical traits as well, some 16s, 17s in there as well, but just a solid player. Nothing super flamboyant or fantastic about him, but just a very good runner. They're going to be led by Carlos Chito, another Argentine. I think they've got like 4 or 5 Argentines in their ranks, if I'm honest. Yeah, they've got 5 Argentines and 5 Brazilians in their lineup, which is crazy. Very much a South American influence side, which I guess happens to a lot of different teams throughout the division. But Chito, a very good player. Not super technical, but a good runner, good off-the-ball movement, intelligent worker as well. He'll give us some trouble getting in behind if he gets there early. Passionately, we are going to say, great opportunity to show the pundits they've been right to back you up, and everyone seems positive. And it is a game against Alex Neil, who I think is the Preston manager at the start of everyone's database. He has a really interesting career. He has previously appeared in Scotland. He's now at Leeds, and he's now a Premier League winning manager as well. Harold with the ball in here towards Esteban, and it's an early goal. We desperately needed that one. The Spanish John Cena just nods that one in to the far corner for his 5th goal of the season. I'm pretty sure all of them would be this exact same run and flick on header. Great ball in. Powers in front of the defender. Powers it into the far corner. Keeping you do nothing about it. Even if they had a man on back post, I don't think they would have had anything there to save it. And we go a goal to the good, which is going to make for an interesting tactical battle in the second half. Corner here though, taken by Temperini. Good header away by Richard. Now Harold can play it forward to Schaefer. He's got some space in front of him if he can carry the ball. Rivera making good off the shoulder runs. He finds him now and strikes from distance. What an effort that is. I was just about to say, can he find the overlapping run of the fullback? But instead he's just turned it and blasted that in from the top of the 18-yard box. 24th goal of the season for the young Mexican. Schaefer did very, very well. Had bodies around him. Rivera just turns and then just absolutely paced that one. Keeper maybe could have done a little bit better. I thought he might be about to play in Carlos Andre on this left-hand side, but I'm going to take it as a goal. Throwing now, right-hand side, Lucas Gabriel to take. We lose out, but the clearance is only as far as Henri. Now Lind, good backstick ball towards Harold, and tell you what, that would have probably sealed it if we had gone 3-0 up inside the half. But a good save, and I think it was actually eventually brought back for offside. Temperini with the corner now for Leeds. Good header away by Abdesamad. Richard again finds Schaefer on the overlap. This is a good counter-attack that we've got going from these set-piece scenarios. Wide right area, skips past Kadic, skips past a couple, pinballing around, and then just gets taken off the foot of Rivera by Temperini, who made a great run after taking that corner to recover and make the tackle in the 6-yard box. Richard with the corner now for us, towards Esteban again. Cleared, but only as far as Henri. Wide right area, it's a poor clearance. Lind will pick up possession. Shido gives away the foul. We've got a wide free kick. Are we going to see this one before halftime? We're not. I'm just going to use a demand more shout. We just want to keep focused now through to halftime. Let's try and get there with this 2-goal advantage if we can, or we can make it 3 if we score from this highlight. Richard with the ball, wide right area. Clearance is shut down well by the defence. Now Kadic gets the chance to come forward, and he finds Shido over the top, and it's a good finish. I literally wasn't even finished saying the sentence, if we can keep hold of this lead, and all of a sudden, out of kind of nowhere, the first real highlight that we've seen for Leeds, it's just a straightforward ball over the shoulder, and Shido runs straight through. It's poor defensive marking and a poor line held, and Shido doesn't even take a touch, just leathers that one into the bottom corner first time of asking. And that's the danger with Leeds. They're a good side. They only need a couple of opportunities to find the back of the net. We spoke about Kadic in the build-up. We spoke about Shido in the build-up. So at halftime, 2-1, 12 shots, 7 on target, 47% possession for Isle of Man, 9 shots, 4 on target, 53% of the ball. I'm in two minds. Do we stay with the 4-4-2 or do we go and try and defend this lead? Maybe assertively, let's go. We've got to guard against complacency. Everyone seems focused, which is great. Maybe we try. Didn't I just say in the build-up that we didn't want to do too much in terms of changing our structures and our styles? Now I kind of don't know what to do. Screw it, let's do it. Let's try and defend a lead. So let's bring on Haji for Schaefer at the 10, and we'll make that the only sub we make at half-time. And then let's just switch up Abdesamad and Esteban's sides at the back. So Esteban's the stopper, Abdesamad is the covering defender. Will I live to regret that one, or will we find a way to squeak our way through? We currently have an advantage. We're not being great at defending leads. We're not being great at inviting pressure either. But as we get to the hour mark, so far so good. First highlight of the second half, throw in on our side. Carlos Andre squares it up to Henri. Now Haji. Need a big half from him after coming off the bench. Henri, switch out towards Richard. Can he get a ball back across the box? Backstick ball towards Harold. It's pinballing around. Harold gets 2 bites of the cherry and then they clear it away. It was an excellent save from Stokes in the Leeds goal. And then the second follow-up hits the inside of the post before they clear. We're going to make another sub here. It looks like Harold hasn't played particularly well. We're going to bring on Mejidou, who is basically a defensive player. But we'll leave him as a winger on attack. He can tackle a bit as well. Hopefully those fresh legs will help us out. I'm going to hold on to that last sub for the last 10 minutes or so. We're also going to use a get creative shout to try and inspire a run. They've immediately got a highlight. Throw in, right-hand side, Temperini, close down well. Mejidou now with the ball. Can he switch it out to the other side? Finds Lucas Gabriel. I feel like we could have maybe sent that player on the right-hand side while he was goal side. Richard does well though. Turns inside, looks to send Rivera, but Stokes comes out and claims. Is this highlight going to continue here? Long one forward. Krieger brings it down for Leeds. Steps inside to De Lima. Now Celico, you can see those 2 midfielders at the base just looking to switch side to side when they pick up possession. Kadic with the ball into Shido, and thankfully the header just over the crossbar. It's tense. They've got a lot of yellow cards. If one of them could pick up a second yellow, I'd appreciate it a lot. We do have one more sub up our sleeve. We're going to hit pause one last time on 80 minutes. Haji's not done particularly well since he came on. Richard's not having a great game either. We don't have that much we can do in terms of subs or changes remaining though. Maybe we just take off Lind for Miller and play him a little bit deeper. Maybe that's how we shore things up for the last 10 minutes or so. Just fresh legs in midfield to try and press and harry a little bit. We're also going to use a demand more shout, give everyone some focus through to full time. If you'd have offered me 2-1 before the match, I'd have taken it. And there's going to be 3 additional minutes of added time added on for us to try and sit through. And there's not going to be a highlight, is there? It just ends. So we're into the FA Cup final. That part's fantastic. But Sports Interactive, put that highlight at the end of the game just for the tension. 20 shots, 8 on target, 51% possession for FC Isle of Man, 14 shots, 6 on target, 49% of the ball for Leeds. And I think we managed that well. I think it was the right decision to drop off and not go attacking in the second half. Passionately, we're going to say we're in the final. Congratulations, you completely deserve it. And we're going to have to check out the results in the other match. I was not paying attention to them at all throughout the course of that contest to see who we're going to line up against in the FA Cup final. For the first time in our history, it's going to be Southampton. Fantastic. It's not Arsenal, it's Southampton, who haven't played as well this season, who have dropped off a little bit in terms of their overall ability in the squad, but they go through on penalties after a 0-0 draw. FC Isle of Man book Wembley place. FC Isle of Man and Controllers United have brushed aside. Shito, though, got the Man of the Match award, an 8.3 rating for his goal. 2.14 million, which is great for our finances. And now, apparently, players at Chelsea are saying Esteban needs to move across. It's not going to happen. All right, so it means that FA Cup final should be the last game of the season. Fantastic. It means we're going to play Southampton twice in the next episode. We're going to play them in the last game of the season, and then we're also going to play them in the FA Cup final. Is that 8 days later? 7 days later. Our first trip to Wembley, as far as I'm aware, in this save as well. But we've got Premier Division fixtures that we need to win, and we need to get good results in. Magic editing, we'll jump forward to the match against Bournemouth now. All right, so just like that, we're a week ahead, and we've had one issue throughout the build-up, which is that Pablo Rivera has picked up a knock, and it's not a great one. He's out 8 days to 2 weeks. He should be back for the FA Cup final. I don't think there's any danger of that, but he just kind of got himself back into a decent little run of form, and he'd scored a goal in each of his last 3, which is disappointing that he hasn't, but we'll make the adjustment. We'll go to this 4-2-3-1, which isn't what I wanted to go after. I wanted to really go ham at the end of the season and go super attacking. But I think just based on personnel and availability, we will make the adjustment. So Hardy will come back into the lineup as the 10. Schaefer will lead the line up top, and Lynn comes back in at the base of midfield. Does see Lucas Gabriel shift further forward, with Fontana coming in as the right wing back as he makes his return from suspension. So not ideal, but still not the worst result in the world. Like, it is still a good formation. It is still relatively positive. And looking over at Bournemouth, they're playing a very similar structure and style, to be honest. 4-2-3-1, because apparently it's the most popular formation in the game this year, and certainly in the Premier Division in 2036 or whatever season we're up to. Now, Bournemouth are a side who have gone up and down a couple of different times over the last few years, and they have kind of kept the same group throughout that period as well. Like, a lot of familiar faces there. Mate has been there a while. Puig has been there a while. Ole Zola is their leading assist maker for the season thus far. He's only got 6 in all competitions, so not a huge amount of goals being created at Bournemouth. 27-year-old Spaniard, left-footed player. 16 crossing is impressive. Decent aggression as well, 19. Some good physical traits as well. But again, nothing like to be super terrified of. Only 13 goals in 101 appearances for Bournemouth since joining from Brentford. The guy leading the line up top is the one we have to be careful of. He's scored against us a variety of times. Martin Martinez, not particularly imaginative in his name, but he is a quality player. 18 dribbling is huge. 17 technique's decent. Finishing is 15 isn't bad, but that's not really a concern, your finishing level, if you're already 25 metres ahead of the defensive line. His anticipation, composure, and off-the-ball movement are all 16. That's impressive. And some very good physical traits here. 17 acceleration, balance, 16 stamina, 19 pace jumps out at you immediately, 19 agility as well, very impressive. 25-year-old Chilean hitman, 67 goals in 195 appearances for Bournemouth. And I think he's got 4 or 5 of those against us as well, which is always a bit difficult. Just one of those players that seems to consistently score against us. We've got a few players on the bench as well that they might be resting. Kayeli, he's their number 6. Collins, their number 7. Rata is a name that I remember. I can't think why, though. Did we play against him at Atletico Madrid or Lille or something like that? No, he's been at Bournemouth for 7 years. Maybe he's just previously scored against us. There are a lot of players, unfortunately, that have scored against us over the years. Passionately, we're going to say, media have given you credit lately. Why not just go with that? And let's calmly tell Schaefer up front that we have faith in him. We've got no backup striker on the bench. We need a good performance out of him today. And we're going to keep an eye on other games in this one as well, because Arsenal are away at Man City. If Man City get a good result, that could go a long way to help us secure Champions League football for the first time through the league. And of course, our highest league finish in the Premier Division as well. Lucas Gabriel's on a yellow here, and he's just gone through a player twice. Tracker has kept the ball. Switch out to Matthias, and Martinez has gotten goal side and finished, but he was offside in that build-up. It wasn't even close. I don't know why that one's going to VAR. I saw it, so why didn't the linesman? All right, corner to be taken by us. First highlight, we've had possession for the game. Lucas Raphael punches it out from the Bournemouth goal. Lynn's going to put it back in, or he's going to reset through Abdesamad. Switch now to Henri, who looks for Harold on the left-hand side. Can cut back on his favoured right foot. Wonderful finish from the English wonder kid. 12th goal of the season for him. He's chipped in quite handily with some additional goals this season, and that one could be huge in the build-up of the season as well. Henri hangs it over, brings it down quite well, cuts back, skips one challenge, and then just leathers it with his left foot. Keeper is trying to come out, doesn't even get down anywhere near it. And then he pulls off a fancy little Robbie Keane cartwheel into the corner flag. Right, 10 minutes remaining in the half. We're going to use a demand more shout just to give everyone some focus through to half-time. And keeping an eye on other results, City and Arsenal still playing out a 0-0 draw as things currently stand. Hopefully, City can take a lead because that would be huge for us. And at halftime, 1-0 up, 3 shots, 1 on target, 58% possession for the Isle of Man, 2 shots, 1 on target, 42% of the ball for Bournemouth. Passionately, we're going to say happy with the performance so far, keep it up. And so far, so good. A couple of 6.4, 6.5 average ratings out there, but really, we're kind of not able to make too many changes. Harold's gotten in and nearly adds a second straight away in the second half. Hopefully that is setting the tone a little bit for the second half. Looking over at Bournemouth though, no players jumping out in terms of their average ratings either. They've got some 6.2s, 6.4s, 6.5s out there. Haji with the free kick, wide right area. It's cleared and now Martinez has got the ball and can dribble forward. He can skip past a challenge. The 18 dribbling showing through, and Jesus, he's nearly found the finish too. Would have been quite the goal had he picked the ball up from a corner and dribbled end to end and found a finish. But to be honest, I'd have been pretty furious at our defence for not just chopping him down on halfway. Very quickly, we've gotten through to the hour mark. We'll let this highlight play out from Haji. Wide right free kick towards back post. Lucas Raphael comes and claims for Bournemouth. We've got to be careful in transition here. They're getting some bodies forward. Martinez is going to go and challenge this ball, and he's brought it down right-hand side, and he's found the finish. We got a warning flag a minute ago, and I don't know what's happened here. We'll check this out in 3 dimensions, and then we're going to make some subs. He's just gone. Lucas Raphael has possession, and Carlos Andre is under this for what feels like a lifetime. And Martinez just comes, walks past him, claims it, and then smashes it in with his right foot. We spoke about him in the build-up. Some players just have the worst ability to score against me whenever they feel like it. Do we want to go attacking for the last little bit? Haji can do a job at the 10 if we need him to. Schaefer hasn't played particularly well. Maybe he just needs some support next to him. Maybe Lucas Gabriel has a spell and we bring on Frank Richard. Carlos Andre not playing particularly well either. Maybe bring on Medjadou. And this isn't really the game, trying to now chase a winner where we wanted to lose Pablo Rivera. I think we spoke about, was it today's episode or yesterday's episode? It's all starting to blend together for me, to be honest. But we spoke about not altering stuff too much, not changing shapes during matches. And I've just done it again. So if this all goes pear-shaped, I will take full responsibility. We're also going to use a demand more shout with about 10 minutes remaining in the game. They've got a throw in here right-hand side. Kayeli back to D. Almeida. I think their centre-back has taken throw-ins. If we can give them the ball back quickly, maybe, oh no, Cohen's got possession. Square ball towards Martinez and then Medjadou hooks it away. 4 additional minutes to be added on at the end of the half. Haven't got any shouts up our sleeve. Traka is going to take this one for Bournemouth. Headed back out. Rater's come off the bench as well. Pinballs around. Traker pinballs it around again and Martinez got a bite of the cherry. Traker got a second bite of the cherry. Thankfully, no highlight coming. Medjadou with a throw-in. Henri back to Esteban. Work it side to side, boys. Abdesamad. Now out to the right. Find Fontana. Work the 2v1. Work the 2v1. Get a good ball in the box. Skips past a couple of challenges. Goes to strike himself. It's the most unlikely of scorers. It's right wing-back Luciano Fontana with his first goal of the season. I think only probably his second or third goal for the club. And it's a phenomenal run. Check it out here in 3 dimensions. I'm just waiting for him to get to the byline and try and cross it back. But instead, he goes to strike from the wide area. That might be the 1 in 100. The 100 strikes you see from wide areas that just go straight to the keeper or find a way to hit side netting, they've immediately got a highlight here. I'm going to be furious if they score. Tracker with the ball now. Coming forward from left back. They're definitely pushing on quite a bit. Sent out to the left-hand side. Medjadou should get there first. Does quite well to get his body goal side. Good protecting of the ball. Sends it long to Schaefer, who has turned his man excellently as well. What can he do? Wide left area. It's an excellent finish from Ollie Schaefer. We spoke about maybe he just needs to play in a 4-4-2. Maybe that's his preferred formation. And maybe getting even Haji, who can't really play up front, up there alongside him is enough to turn his result around. He was on a 6.4 for most of the match. And this is an excellent takedown, excellent strike. Leathers it past the goalkeeper. And 3-1, that should be it. That should be 3 points in the bag and a little step closer to Champions League qualification as well. Though the highlights just keep coming. 94 minutes played. We're in 40 seconds above what was initially indicated. Puljic with the ball now for Bournemouth. And thankfully, the drive straight at Mancini. If we can get it forward here quickly, maybe we can add a fourth. Richard with the ball now. Sends Haji down into the corner. It's a poor ball. And I dare say the referee is about to call full time. And he does. All right, so we got there in the end. Okay, I feel like I don't know how to play this game because last time when we made a tactical adjustment, change formation, we lost both matches. This time we've done it and it's worked out effectively in the episode. It's not going to do well for my confidence moving forward. We are going to passionately give praise to the team. They're very happy with the result and the way that you played. That is a huge result for us against the last side that we have to play in the top 10 positions. And in the end, City and Arsenal also played out a 0-0 draw. So that was huge for us to actually get 3 points in that one. Caesars go 2 points clear of Arsenal and plus 7 goal difference with 3 games remaining to play. We're an outside chance to catch Manchester United if they lose all 3 of theirs and we win all 3 of ours. But realistically, we're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Chelsea are out of our reach. City are out of our reach. It's really going to go down to them over the last 4 games of the season for City as to who finishes top of the league. Arnaud Henry gets the Man of the Match award, an 8.7 match rating and 9 key passes. Fantastic for him. We've confirmed our best ever finish with 3 matches still to play. We're going to finish in the top 5 for the first time. Hopefully top 4 and in the Champions League spots. And we have at least qualified for the Europa League, a competition that we have won previously, which is fantastic to see. Henry on form, he gets 1 assist. So let's go and give him a bit of praise. And he seems happy with that. And Descamps wants Henry at St Mary's Stadium. They're definitely going to try and unsettle Henry in the build-up to the FA Cup final, which it's hard to say I blame them for, but also they can fuck off. That would be great. And we're fortunate now that we've got full gaps between our remaining games. We've got a full gap to West Ham, full gap to Reading, full gap to Southampton at the end of the season, and then thankfully a full gap all the way through to the FA Cup final, which is what we're going to come back for tomorrow's episode. A chance to hopefully qualify for Champions League football next season, and then also at the same time add a bit of silverware to the cabinet with our first ever FA Cup. Huge episode and huge results. No clean sheets, but, a good amount of goals. Good amount of highlights for you guys to see as well. There's nothing worse than watching 2 boring 0-0 draws whenever we go to record an episode. If you want to help celebrate qualifying for our first FA Cup final appearance, you can drop a like on this video, or you can subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date of all of our future videos as they continue to release right up until Football Manager 2021 comes out. But more than anything, the part that means most to me is just you guys watching. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.